Hello. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to multiply and divide positive and negative integers. So fortunately for us, the rules are exactly the same with one teeny tiny exception. All right, so first let's look at two numbers that have the same sign. And that's actually probably the easiest one to remember. So let's first look at multiplying. You've been multiplying numbers with the same sign forever. So for example, multiply 5 by 3. Intuitively, I think you guys should know the answer. The answer is 15. All right. Well, that's easy, right? Two positive numbers, but isn't it harder if you have two negative numbers? Aha, the answer is no. It is just as easy. All right, so when multiplying two numbers of the same sign, it doesn't matter what the sign is, the answer will always be positive. So if we had -5 by -3, same sign, when multiplying two numbers of the same sign, we always get a positive number. So that's probably something that you want to write down. The result is always positive. So does that change for division? Absolutely not. If you have the same sign, you're always going to get a positive result. So for example, if we have 20 divided by 4, the answer, as you probably know, is 5. And if we had -20 divided by 4, -20 divided by -4, same sign, the answer is still going to be 5. All right, so as long as you're dealing with operations, multiplication and division, and you're dealing with the same signs, your result will always be positive. Let's look at what happens if you have different signs. Okay, so based on the conversation that we were having before, and by conversation I mean you were listening to me talk, you know that multiplying and dividing numbers or integers with the same signs give you a positive result. So if you had to take a wild stab in the dark here, multiplying numbers with different signs, you got it, gives you a negative result. So let's write that down so we don't forget. So results in a negative answer. Oops. All right, so let's do a couple examples just to make sure that we have it down. So if we had 5 multiplied by -6, well, we know 5 times 6 is 30, but since we have one positive number and one negative number, our answer will be -30. All right, and as long as one of the numbers is positive and one of the numbers is negative, the answer will be negative. Let's try a division. So let's say we're doing 25 divided by 5. Notice I wrote it differently, a little bit of variety. So our -25 divided by -5. There we go. All right, so one is negative, one is positive. That means the result should be negative, and the result is -5. All right, so now we know how to multiply and divide numbers with the same sign and with different signs. But remember, 0 is also an integer, so we should look at what happens if you multiply and divide by 0. Okay. So the exception is going to lie in this part of the lesson. Multiplying is pretty straightforward. You probably already know what happens, but we're going to go over it anyway. So when you multiply by 0, the answer is always 0. That's so important to remember. So the answer is always 0. Notice the caps here. Maybe I should have done it in red. It's pretty important to know this. All right, so for example, if I have 100,000 multiplied by 0, what's my answer? You got it, just 0. All right, multiplying by 0, the answer is always 0. It doesn't matter what I'm multiplying 0 by, the answer is 0. Now, dividing 0 by a number, you actually get the same result. But hold tight, don't shut the video off yet. The most important thing is yet to come. So dividing, if we have, and I'm going to show you 2 examples, it's the easiest way for me to differentiate between the 2 things. So 0 divided by a number, so let's say 0 divided by 50, the answer is 0. So when you divide 0 by a number, the answer is 0. So for example, another one that's similar, 0 over 10, the answer is 0. It's like saying I have 0 slices of cake out of the 10 slices of cake that exist. It is just 0 slices of cake. But in another case scenario, if we decided instead to divide by 0, so let's say 50 divided by 0, the answer is actually undefined. There's no answer. There's no answer that I can tell you. It's not possible for me to take 50 and divide it into little parts that are 0. I think that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. So if I have 0 on the bottom, so 10 divided by 0, not possible. Undefined. So the rule for dividing by 0, you will get an undefined answer. But if you take 0 and divide by a number, you get 0. Super important to know the difference. Hope that helps. See you soon.